Get ready, coin enthusiasts. Today, we are diving into the thrilling world of Monticello Jefferson Nickels, exploring the most rare and valuable coins that make collectors' hearts race and wallets rejoice. From historical significance to subtle mint errors that can skyrocket a coin's market value, we're covering everything you need to know about the top 5 Monticello Jefferson Nickels. Buckle up for an electrifying journey through numismatic history. 1962 Monticello Jefferson Nickel coin. The 1962 Monticello Jefferson Nickel is a classic that represents a fascinating period in American coinage. Minted during the early 1960s, this nickel was struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, though it's important to note that the Philadelphia coins lack a mint mark, while Denver examples proudly display a small D beneath Monticello's dome on the reverse. The obverse showcases Thomas Jefferson in profile, rendered with meticulous attention to detail, capturing his intellectual demeanor, while the reverse highlights Monticello, Jefferson's architectural masterpiece, in crisp relief. Historically, 1962 was a time when the United States was undergoing significant cultural and economic changes. Coinage from this era reflects the mint's focus on continuity and stability, and the Jefferson nickel was a staple of daily transactions. The 1962 nickel had a relatively high mintage, approximately 384 million from Philadelphia and 277 million from Denver. Despite these seemingly large numbers, certain variations and errors from this year are highly coveted by collectors. One notable feature that can dramatically affect value is the occurrence of doubled dies and weak strikes, particularly on the Monticello reverse. Collectors carefully examine the lines of Monticello's columns and the lettering for signs of doubling, which can turn a common coin into a rare treasure. Additionally, circulation strikes that maintain full detail, known as gem uncirculated specimens, fetch premium prices at auction. Market demand for the 1962 nickel is strong among both historical collectors and those who specialize in mid-20th century U.S. coinage. Prices for a standard circulated example range from a few dollars to over $20 for high-grade uncirculated pieces, while error coins can reach into the hundreds or even thousands, depending on the severity and rarity of the mistake. This makes the 1962 Jefferson nickel a fascinating entry point for anyone interested in the subtle interplay of history, design, and market forces. 1964 Monticello Jefferson Nickel coin. The 1964 Monticello Jefferson Nickel represents a pivotal year for coin collectors, as it was the final year before the Coinage Act of 1965 dramatically changed the composition of U.S. nickels. Minted in Philadelphia and Denver, with Philadelphia lacking a mint mark and Denver proudly displaying the D, these coins were part of a transitional period in numismatics. The design, unchanged since 1938, continued to feature Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, both rendered with an elegance that has endured for decades. 1964 saw mintage numbers that were significantly higher than earlier years, with Philadelphia striking roughly 618 million coins and Denver producing approximately 237 million. Despite the large quantities, certain specimens are highly sought after due to specific errors and die varieties. Collectors look for doubled dies, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks, particularly on the Denver issues, which can dramatically increase a coin's value. The historical context of 1964 adds another layer of interest. This was a period marked by social change and economic growth in the United States. The Jefferson nickel circulated widely, yet it also became a symbol of collecting potential as more people began to recognize the numismatic importance of everyday coins. The 1964 nickel is also notable for its relatively high silver content in preceding years' proofs, although standard circulation coins were still composed primarily of a copper-nickel alloy. Collector demand remains robust, with high-grade uncirculated coins commanding prices in the tens of dollars, while error coins, or those with exceptional toning, can fetch significantly more. Numismatic experts emphasize careful examination of the strike quality and luster, as these factors often distinguish a coin worth a modest sum from one valued at several $100s. For anyone building a collection centered on Monticello nickels, the 1964 issue is an essential edition, offering both historical richness and market potential. 1965 Monticello Jefferson Nickel coin. The 1965 Monticello Jefferson nickel represents a turning point in U.S. coinage. Following the Coinage Act of 1965, the U.S. Mint eliminated silver from dimes and quarters and faced changes in public interest in coin collecting. Jefferson nickels minted in 1965 were part of a fascinating period marked by large-scale production and subtle quality control issues. The obverse continued to feature Jefferson's dignified profile, while the reverse preserved Monticello's architectural precision, though collectors often scrutinized these coins for die wear and striking anomalies. Mintage numbers for 1965 were substantial, with the Philadelphia Mint producing roughly 660 million coins and Denver striking nearly 400 million. Despite the high numbers, certain specimens are highly prized due to errors such as doubled dies, weak strikes, and repunched mint marks. These anomalies are often found on the reverse, where Monticello's details may appear doubled or slightly misaligned, making careful inspection essential for serious collectors. The historical backdrop of 1965 adds intrigue. This was a year of transformation for the mint and for collectors, as coin shortages and rising interest in numismatics coincided. Jefferson nickels from this year circulated widely, but surviving high-grade examples are treasured. The subtle changes in striking quality, combined with historical context, contribute to the coin's allure. Collector demand for 1965 nickels is particularly strong for uncirculated coins and those exhibiting notable errors. Market values for standard circulated coins remain modest, often a few dollars, but high-grade or error coins can easily fetch $50 to $200 or more, depending on rarity and condition. This makes the 1965 Jefferson nickel an exciting option for collectors seeking both historical depth and potential investment value. 1974 Monticello Jefferson Nickel coin. The 1974 Monticello Jefferson Nickel stands out as a coin that bridges mid-20th century design with modern minting techniques. Produced in Philadelphia and Denver, it retains the classic Jefferson obverse and Monticello reverse, but collectors often note subtle differences in strike quality and die alignment that make certain specimens particularly valuable. The 1974 nickels are notable for their sharp relief and luster, especially in uncirculated examples, which preserve the fine lines of Monticello's architecture. Mintage for 1974 was substantial, with Philadelphia producing approximately 681 million coins and Denver striking around 297 million. Despite these large figures, some varieties and errors, including doubled dies, off-center strikes, and die cracks, command attention from collectors. The 1974 D variety is particularly sought after when it exhibits full strike detail or rare minting anomalies. Historically, 1974 was a period of social and economic change in the United States, and the Jefferson nickel reflects this era's emphasis on consistent coin design and mass production. The coin's widespread circulation means that many examples show wear, but high-grade specimens have excellent collector appeal. The subtle variations in luster and toning can add to a coin's value, making careful examination critical. Market values for 1974 nickels vary widely. Circulated examples are typically modestly priced, ranging from a few cents to several dollars. But uncirculated coins, proof examples, or error varieties can command significantly higher prices. Collector demand remains strong, particularly for those seeking to complete a full set of Monticello nickels or to acquire high-quality specimens with unique minting characteristics. The 1974 nickel offers both historical interest and numismatic potential, making it a standout in any collection. 1979 D. Monticello Jefferson Nickel coin. The 1979 D. Monticello Jefferson Nickel is a fascinating example of late 20th century U.S. coinage. Produced in Denver, it features the familiar Jefferson obverse and Monticello reverse, but collectors are often drawn to subtle minting differences that can dramatically affect value. The D mint mark beneath Monticello is a key identifier, and the coin's sharp relief and clean lines make it an attractive specimen for both novice and experienced collectors. Mintage in 1979 was robust, with Denver striking approximately 458 million coins. Despite the high production, certain specimens with errors, such as doubled dies or off-center strikes, are highly coveted. Collectors carefully examine the details of Monticello's columns, windows, and roofline for signs of anomalies, as these can significantly increase market value. The 1979 D nickel also offers interesting variations in toning and luster, with uncirculated examples showcasing brilliant surfaces that enhance collector appeal. Historically, the 1979 D nickel reflects a period of stable coinage production and continued interest in numismatics. Circulated nickels from this era provide a window into everyday commerce, while uncirculated or error specimens serve as tangible artifacts of minting precision. The late 1970s also saw growing awareness among collectors of the importance of mint marks and subtle die varieties, further elevating the 1979 DS significance. Market demand for the 1979 D nickel is steady, with standard circulated examples valued modestly, often a few cents to a few dollars. However, high-grade uncirculated coins, particularly those with exceptional toning or minor minting errors, can command significantly higher prices. This makes the 1979 D Jefferson nickel a compelling choice for collectors seeking both historical insight and numismatic value, rounding out our guide to the top 5 rare and valuable Monticello nickels. Each of these coins tells a story of American history, minting craftsmanship, and collector fascination. From the 1962 nickel's subtle die errors to the 1979 DS brilliant uncirculated surfaces, Monticello Jefferson Nickels continue to captivate collectors around the world, combining aesthetic beauty, historical significance, and market potential in every coin.